Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're jumping right into a thousand-year-old mystery packed with ancient prejudice, dark magic, and, well, a completely terrifying beast hiding right beneath the halls of Hogwarts. We're untangling the deep historical and magical layers of Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. Let's break this massive, multi-generational puzzle down logically. We'll start with the Founder's dark secret, look at the first opening, cover the warnings and flying cars, the return of terror, unlocking the chamber, and wrap up with defeating the heir. Starting off with Section 1, the Founder's dark secret, a millennium-old grudge. So to really understand this, we have to travel back a full millennium to the very founding of the school. Gryffindor, Ravenclaw, and Hufflepuff, they had this beautifully inclusive vision. They wanted Hogwarts to be a welcoming place for all magical children. But then there's Salazar Slytherin. He harbored a truly dangerous obsession with pure-blood supremacy. He absolutely hated the idea of admitting anyone born to non-magical parents. And honestly, this early ideological split is a massive reminder of how systemic prejudice can literally be baked into the foundation of an institution. When the other founders rightfully rejected his extremist views, Slytherin packed up and left. But man, he left a terrible legacy behind. Before storming off in a rage, Slytherin secretly constructed a hidden chamber. And what did he leave inside? A basilisk. If you don't know, this is a giant serpent whose direct gaze causes instant death, and just catching its reflection causes complete petrification. Slytherin basically put this ancient nightmare into a deep slumber, with the terrifying intention that his true heir would one day wake it up and purge the school of all Muggleborns. Moving right into Section 2, the first opening, the 1940s tragedy. Let's look at how this timeline actually plays out. The chamber sits dormant for 1,000 years. Then in 1938, a kid named Tom Riddle arrives at Hogwarts. By 1942, Riddle figures out his dark lineage. He is Salazar Slytherin's true descendant. Utilizing his incredibly rare ability to speak to snakes, he actually opens the chamber and unleashes the basilisk on the school. This directly leads to the tragic death of a student we know as Moaning Myrtle, who accidentally looked the massive serpent directly in the eye. Now, Riddle realizes the school is going to close because of this death, which means he'd have to go back to his orphanage. So he scrambles to cover his tracks. He coldly frames a fellow student, Rubeus Hagrid, who just happened to be secretly keeping a giant terrifying spider named Aragog. As Riddle callously put it, it was my word against Hagrid's. Poor Hagrid is expelled and shipped off to Azkaban prison. Meanwhile, Riddle does something unthinkable. He hides a literal piece of his own dark soul inside a diary. Why? So his horrifying purge could eventually be finished by someone else. Which brings us to Section 3, Warnings and Flying Cars. The plot resumes. Okay, so the sins of the past completely leap forward 50 years to 1992. A totally frantic house elf named Dobby shows up and warns Harry of a deadly plot. He famously declares Harry Potter must not go back to Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry this year. Dobby goes to extreme lengths here, guys. He magically seals the train platform barrier at King's Cross. This forces Harry and Ron to literally steal a flying, enchanted turquoise Ford Anglia and fly it all the way to school, where they nearly get expelled, not to mention almost getting crushed by the violent Whomping Willow. But Dobby was just trying to help. The true architect of this modern danger? Lucius Malfoy. In a seriously calculated move, Lucius secretly slips Tom Riddle's dark diary into young Ginny Weasley's cauldron at a busy bookshop. His goal is twofold. He wants to unleash the monster to purge the School of Muggleborns, and he wants to entirely ruin Ginny's father, Arthur Weasley, who is leading Ministry of Magic raids on dark artifacts. Two birds, one horrifying stone. On to Section 4. Terror returns to Hogwarts. The heir strikes back. Once they're all at Hogwarts, innocent little Ginny Weasley is slowly, methodically possessed by the soul fragment living inside that diary. She is forced to unwittingly reopen the chamber, and absolute terror sweeps the corridors. First, Mrs. Norris the cat is petrified, then bloody warnings start appearing on the castle walls. Several students, including Hermione, end up completely paralyzed. And the only reason they don't drop dead? Pure luck. They happen to see the basilisk's reflection, in water or through a mirror, instead of taking the direct gaze. Oh, and spiders? They are observed systematically fleeing the castle because they are absolutely terrified of this monster. Now, it's absolutely crucial for us to separate the myth from the reality here. Because of the panic, everyone is pointing fingers. People actually suspect Harry, mostly because he has the super rare ability to speak Parseltongue.
Others blame Hagrid again or Draco Malfoy. But the true puppet master was Tom Riddle's memory, operating through a possessed Ginny to control the basilisk. It's such a classic recurring theme in history, isn't it? The sheer ease with which truth can be manipulated and the wrong people scapegoated during a mass panic.
Let's dig into Section 5, Unlocking the Chamber, Into the Depths. Things are looking incredibly bleak. Hermione is paralyzed in the hospital wing, and Hagrid is hauled off to magical prison again. But the boys follow a trail of clues left by those fleeing spiders to a massive realization. The monster is a basilisk, and it's using the castle's plumbing to get around. Harry realizes he can use Parseltongue, that extremely rare magical ability to speak to snakes shared by Slytherin, Riddle, and himself, to magically unlock the hidden sink entrance right in the middle of Moaning Myrtle's bathroom. Going miles below the school, into the literal depths of the plumbing, Harry finds a dying Ginny. Beside her is a physical glowing manifestation of Tom Riddle. And here is the huge twist. Riddle triumphantly waves a wand, rearranging the fiery letters of his own name to reveal his true identity. I am Lord Voldemort. He wasn't just some old student. He was draining Ginny's life force to completely resurrect his own physical form as the Dark Lord. And that brings us to our final section, Defeating the Heir, a Battle of Legends. We have finally reached the climax. It's a terrifying, almost impossible battle, pitting a monstrous ancient serpent against a 12-year-old wizard. But help arrives. In an incredible display of loyalty, Dumbledore's Phoenix, Fawkes, swoops in and blinds the beast, completely neutralizing its lethal gaze. This gives Harry the opening he needs to pull a literal mythical weapon, the Sword of Gryffindor, right out of the magical sorting hat. Harry valiantly slays the basilisk, but in the chaos, he gets fatally pierced by one of its massive, venomous fangs. He has literally seconds left. With one desperate, fading moment before the venom takes his life, Harry grabs that broken basilisk fang and plunges it directly into the diary. Boom! It immediately destroys the piece of Riddle's soul, completely obliterating his physical form and instantly saving Ginny's life. Now you might be thinking, what about Harry? Well, Fawkes isn't done. The magical healing tears of the Phoenix cure Harry's deadly wound just in the nick of time. This beautifully resolves our historical mystery and leaves us with a powerful truth to take away. True courage and unwavering loyalty can overcome even the darkest, most ancient magic. It's a striking reminder that the choices we make today can literally rewrite the tragic mistakes of the past. But the story isn't quite over, and it ends with a brilliantly clever tactical move. Harry directly confronts Lucius Malfoy with the ruined venom-soaked diary. He looks right at him and says, "Mr. Malfoy, I think you slipped the diary into Ginny Weasley's cauldron that day at Diagon Alley." But Harry has hidden his own gross, dirty sock inside the pages. When Lucius disgustedly rips the sock out and throws it aside, his abused servant Dobby catches it. And by the rules of house elf magic, catching clothing from his master magically frees him from his enslavement. Absolutely brilliant. Which leaves us with this final, genuinely chilling thought to wrap up this explainer. If a mere 50-year-old memory of Tom Riddle, hidden away in a diary, could unleash this much devastation and almost destroy Hogwarts entirely, what absolute horrors await us when the true Dark Lord fully resurrects? Thank you so much for hanging out with me to unravel this today, and I really hope this deep dive brought you some incredible clarity.